When a boat is sinking, it is not deliberately taking on water. Reasonably, a boat designed to sail would simply refuse to fill, but sinking is not a decision that the boat makes, it just breaks, scrapes against jagged rock, unchecked rot in the planks, poor navigation, a storm, perhaps. It is not an active choice per se, it is almost an inactive choice. And when it gets like that, when I get like that, I feel more shipwreck than shifter. I'm not fond of it. I know why it sank. I always know why. It is my job to solve or cause the sorts of problems that would run a ship aground. But I'll not bore you with all the details. Instead, allow me to indicate particular areas of damage. Most severe, the ongoing investigation into the death of Tarek Elham. Today, Luca and N took point in a conversation with the victim himself. Of all the magic I have studied, I am not familiar with this type of necromancy. But as I understand, the Speak with Dead ritual allows a voice to surface from his corpse for a window of time. For this, we requested the expertise of Seeker Elsa. Much to my dismay, there was no better practitioner for the job. I expect they asked Tarek about his poisoning, about his acquaintances, enemies, and about the nature of his death. Gruesome as it was, I'm sure that was an ordeal to listen to. And Miraldine, his romantic partner, was there listening to it as well. Luca offered to me the night before to suggest a question, but I couldn't imagine. I can't. Rather, I won't. I elected not to. The idea of speaking to his corpse, well, I've been doing that all on my own, haven't I? Berating myself for all the things I didn't manage to say or what I failed to observe on the eve of his death. I know it isn't rational. Nightmares typically aren't. Nevertheless, I elected not to go. But I dislike it. As I dislike so many of my choices. Productive, yes, but unsatisfying in many ways. In any case, while Luca and N are working with the detectives agency to solve the murder, my methods are by nature a little more unconventional. As a result, I found myself at a number of dead ends. At the turning points of a voyage, the ship catches on a sandbank and unceremoniously begins to capsize. Soon it's on its side, past midday, and not of any particular use at all. Looking back, I imagine I didn't expect myself to snap out of it. What's another few days, living at the bottom of the sea? And then a note slid under my door. Rather, a note slid under my door. A contract from our neighbor, Sir Damon Ir Adontego. Calling it a breakthrough wouldn't be inaccurate. Yesterday we were speaking such different languages I thought we might never understand one another. But he found a solution today, a way that we can surpass our difficulties with communication. And it worked, I think. For now. He has a wealth of knowledge about various things. He points out flaws in my plans. He is experienced and he is helpful. All in all, it feels a little more possible. Not just the mystery, but in other ways. I said I wouldn't bore you with the details. Nevertheless, I am lately finding myself in a new habit. A habit of honesty where I can manage it. Which shouldn't be hard regularly, but I've been lying for a very long time, so it is a hard habit to break, like buckets of water going overboard. I feel that maybe I am buying time to try and find and fix what's broken. Speaking of, if I am a sinking ship, then N is a house on fire, pun partially intended. I returned from an outing with Damon to find N having the breakdown they've been undoubtedly delaying. The strain of this murder mystery has been plenty for N in particular. Tarek's death was never our initial focus. Of course, we didn't know what was going to happen. The focus has been finding out more about the Snapdragon cult that terrorized N, and the people of Shan, and the foothold they were perhaps taking in Regalport. I imagine that N may have found confirmation about Snapdragon involvement today, though there was plenty already there to weaken their foundations. Their friend, Tassie, whose memorial is this evening. The concept of a memorial at all. I have been trying to be there for them in light of this, and I was expecting today to be another failed attempt to comfort them. But by some manner of stars aligning, seems that wasn't the case. I know my words of comfort may not have been the finest, they can come across cold, but I think N gets it. They have a charitable read of me. If there was ever any doubt of my intentions or my meaning, surely the hug would get it across. And they hugged me back, so I would dare say it's reciprocal. Luca stood at bay. Upon reflection, I sensed that he was giving me a chance to prove myself, to N, to me. Perhaps he was even assessing me himself. Either way, his attempts to facilitate that is very knight captainy of him, and I'd ask him to stop at once in case he gets a big head about it. And thank him as well for recognizing my potential. Who knows? Maybe the buckets I'm shoveling from the boat can help put out the house fire. Perhaps we can dry the wood by the open flame? Or perhaps we are not boats or houses, but a group of 20-somethings trying to solve a murder case with the burden of our lives on our backs. And a funeral to attend. But we said we'd go. So we'll go. Together this time.
Oh, Willow.
Aww.
My sweet bean potato baby, I love you.
Sweet bean potato maybe?
Yeah. Sounds delicious to me.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know what a sweet bean is, but it sounds nice.
It's you, Willow. Congratulations.
Yeah. You are the sweet bean.
Stop.
Bitch.
Willow, like, I shouldn't be getting complimented by this. Stop calling me a sweet bean.
Mm-hmm.
Precious.
It's not a compliment, it's an observation.
Yep.
Anyway. We see a quick moment of
sorry.
you all tidying yourselves up, getting dressed, making sure everything is in order, getting ready for the memorial. You collect Seeker Elsa from her room at the Gold Dragon and get a cab heading towards the Grand Auction Hall, the site of the attack that happened 9 days ago.
Wow.
Doesn't feel like it.
Are we gonna chat in the cab or?
I think as
Fine.
on your way to the cab, Seeker Elsa is probably has attached herself to N's arm
Aww.
to walk with them.
Right, yeah.
So cute.
And we'll accept that as if leading her, as if they're not benefiting from her support.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Probably not a very good act since they just came out of a total
A big
breakdown.
cry. Yeah.
I'm sure Elsa could see
You've-
the little bits of evidence on my face.
Yeah.
Crazy, you can wear all the skins in the world, but they will all have puffy eyes at this point in time, right?
Yep.
You can't, like,
Can't
conceal that
fight
part.
the biology.
Damn it. I think, yeah, then Willow would walk probably ahead with Luca. I imagine, like, leaving you two to walk together.
Yeah. You're
I'll
going
get off
to
you my arm.
No, Willow's gonna fold their arms.
Oh.
Or hands in
Sorry,
their
Bean.
pockets.
Oh yeah,
also
Willow
Cognate
is
at this
dressed.
stage.
Yeah, Willow is dressed as Cognate at this point, right?
Hmm. No, yeah, we'll
Um,
fold their arms so that Luca doesn't get any ideas to, like, lace his arm through theirs or anything.
Seeker Elsa is just like holding N's elbow.
Mm.
It's very much like walking with your mum.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
But
Luke, I believe you have a question.
I do. I was wondering if Damon will be attending. Willow? Cognate? Sorry, Gil?
Did he say all of those out loud?
Yes, he did.
Oh my god, Willow like sharply looks at him like 3 times.
He gives a smile back, like, yeah, sorry.
Big head eye roll. And then Willow will say,
He might be attending.
Suppose he's not really interested. Has other things to tend to.
Before I respond to Luca, shall we... We would have discussed this on the way back from our little outing. I imagine
Yes.
Damon and Willow discussed it pretty much like at the entrance to the Gold Dragon, or maybe at the point of the Gold Dragon where Willow feels comfy to take off their mask,
Yeah.
which is like on the way up to the rooms. Did we want to actually roleplay that? Because I might ask him.
Yeah. We can roleplay that.
Okay. Willow will start the conversation with their mask on, I'll say.
Okay.
So, flashback.
How do you word the question? As you and Damon are coming back from the little wander around town.
And a fine lunch that wasn't terribly awkward this time. I think
Yeah.
Willow's like quiet for a bit, and then they'll just ask, probably as they're passing around this same spot, like I imagine we're walking towards the carts, and Willow's
Mhm.
like thinking of the night ahead. So Willow will say,
Should we wait for you today?
Hmm?
For the memorial.
Oh, that, I'm not gonna go. So don't wait up.
we was gonna do a little insight check. Da 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 da.
Sure.
Oops. Okay, got it. Insight.
Oh.
On a nat 1 failure. With an insight check. What does Willow read into it?
Oh. So I have to arrive at like my own conclusion. I have to make my own
Yeah.
assumptions.
Yes.
I think I hate it here. I think Willow like hesitates to look at him, and then when they do, they are immediately reminded that the last time they talked about the idea of like memorial with Damon was on their boat, talking about how he missed Miss Jenkins' funeral,
Mm-hmm.
and like there is a multiple layered wallop of like, of course he wouldn't want to go to the memorial. Why would he want to go to the memorial? Like it's like why would he want to do that to himself? But then it's also like, but I don't really know what he thinks about it, and I can't. It's like the clash of thoughts. I always imagine Willow's nat ones as like
Mm-hmm.
the argument that happens in their mind when they have assessed too many problems at once,
Yeah.
especially emotional ones. And so
Yeah.
like they end up kind of just like nerfing themselves, and they are now like, I have made the assumption that it is a tender spot for him, and he should avoid it.
Mm-hmm. I think as you are like overheating, Damon says out loud, "It's not really my place to go."
Okay, wait. Willow looks at him.
Not your place.
Damon gives a shrug. I mean, it didn't really happen to me.
I feel like you can't see behind their mask, but you can almost tell that Willow's squinted at him and moved their head like closer. Like, what?
You were at the auction hall.
Yeah, but I didn't really know any of those people.
Well, neither did I.
Damon shrugs. It just doesn't feel appropriate for me to show up to a bunch of grieving people with, if I can't even fake the right emotional response.
Willow's like new anxiety unlocked.
I wasn't thinking about that until you said it.
Willow's like, well, okay, at least I'm wearing a mask. Just that little like head, like their chin tucks into their neck a bit, like, oh, yeah. Or maybe the lack of feeling is the issue, so that the resounding that one is now emulating on that part of like, maybe he just doesn't care, actually. No, but then he would have to care because to arrive at the conclusion that you should be like, sympathetic with the other people.
Do you want to make another insight check?
Am I allowed to?
Yeah. You've
Okay.
received new information.
Hey, better.
Much better. The thing that snags on your brain is that Damon doesn't seem to think of being present at the event, or, you saw him punching zombies. You threw your sword at him so that he could kill zombies better so people could escape. He does not seem to register that as being part of it. It's like he was an observer. It's like he heard about it.
Oh.
Then again, maybe he has fought so many monsters that, like, this kind of thing really doesn't faze him.
Okay, if Willow ends up squinting a bit to themselves, there is a part of that is familiar to them, and they also like, I don't have time to unpack that. We're not going to do that. But then at the same time, they're just gonna shake that. I feel like the insight check helps them shake off the added like of all of their thoughts happening at once, and they'll try and course correct.
Well, regardless, I don't mean this to be insulting. Are you unfazed by the events of that transpired?
Damon pauses for a moment. Well, kinda. It sucks, but he sort of shrugs.
Well, the reason I ask is because in these kinds of situations, we have all perceived something rather unpleasant. So, as I understand, there is the memorials serve to provide necessary emotional closure for things. So, if carrying lanterns to the sea would help. Or if it wouldn't. What I'm trying to say is, okay.
Willow just says okay and gives up on it. Like, I don't know what they're getting at.
Beautiful
This is
summary.
Such a stark contrast to how well they did last episode.
They're not doing badly. It's just
They're trying.
It's just they're trying. They're trying, and they are being received where they're at. So it's still better.
I think Willow might just say,
In any case, I'm going for in, more or less.
Damon nods. All right, then. have a good time. He sort of trails off with a similar, like, what am I saying?
We're so bad at this. Okay, Willow's going to respond.
Let me know if you'd like anything. On the way home, perhaps they will leave food.
I'm good. Don't worry about me.
Okay, well,
You just take care of your friends.
Yeah, and you take care of yourself.
Always do. And he leaves the conversation before it can trail on any longer and give you more opportunity to doubt yourself.
Yeah. Okay.
This is the worst conversation I've ever heard. And you guys do that a lot, so like, good job on topping yourself constantly.
I think you did okay.
Thank you. Well, thank you. Okay. Well, that's the conversation that preempted Willow entering the room as an aside when Luca saw Damon just curtly walk into his own room.
Yeah.
Unceremonious
Rest
indeed.
assured,
Okay,
you
all
did
right.
better with the conversation that followed, I suppose.
Yes, well, if Damon bursts into tears, then we can say that I might be able to do something more interesting. But alas,
More interesting.
What a choice of words.
leave me alone. Occupying Willow is so stressful. All right, okay. So crashing back to Luca and Willow in real time. Imagine there's this like kind of awkward look on Cognot's face of it's an expressionless mask, but still
The
like,
body language speaks volumes.
yeah.
It's the
Willow's just
tension in
going-
the shoulders and the...
Yeah, and I imagine the light of their eyes like sparks a few times where they like false start on talking. What did Luca say? That Damon doesn't really care?
I don't even remember. I'm
He's
like,
got
sorry,
things to do.
blitzed our conversation.
And other things to do.
blindsided.
Something.
Sorry.
along those lines.
Yeah.
All thoughts are gone.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I'm a pretty thoughtless guy to begin with, so.
Yeah. I think Willow's going to false start a few times on thinking like how to explain the Damon thing. They're going to find the conclusion, which is just, I don't know, actually, and just kind of shrug to Luca and say,
We'll see you later.
I suppose.
You'll get in the cart. Carriage. Okay. God, what's the cost of cab inside of a city? I need to look that up again real quick. Sorry.
no, it's okay.
I thought you, when you
Uh,
said sorry, I thought you were going to say my name, and I'm like, oh god, what did I do?
Pays, hands 1 gold to the cab driver. Luca.
As an apology. I don't know what for, but
yeah, pay a guy 100 times his fee.
Call it a tip.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like 2 copper to get to.
I'll cover it. I got there first.
Willow said it first.
No, Willow
got
said
there
it first. No.
Oh.
I said it
Aw.
first.
Yeah, but I took it off my character sheet first, so who really paid?
Put it back on. Willow got it.
Go.
I'm being the tiebreaker here.
Thank you.
I took it off. That's very aggressive.
Thank you.
So, you're in the
And-
cab.
Yeah, and's quiet for a while, like for the first little stint of the ride. Just kind of,
Mhm.
I imagine there's a window on this thing, so
Yep.
and's mostly just watching the dim streets go by.
I think Luca might be idly talking about who they might see there. Like, ooh, what if we see Lydia?
I think Willow will take off their mask in here too. Might as well. Oh, I'll do a perception check first. I don't know. Cases.
Someone
You're
on
in a
top of
moving
car.
vehicle.
What if Peter is here?
Hey, we planned to hijack a cab once.
God, that seems like so long ago, but it was
Yeah.
literally a week ago.
Yeah.
You're safe enough to remove your mask for the cab ride.
Okay. Mask off. And watching N occasionally from the corner of my eye while engaging with like casual conversation with Luca.
Mhm.
I'm gonna bring Fish Dog out, I think.
Mhm.
I kind of imagine Willow sitting. What kind of cart is this? Is this like a facing each other cart?
Yeah, it's a facing each other
Backward seat.
carriage.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I imagine
kind of
it's a
imagine
closed
Willow's-
carriage. So
Yeah.
imagine a like Victorian stagecoach type situation.
Fancy.
It's
Yeah.
not super comfortable. Luca, you are definitely having to like scrunch your legs up to avoid
Fine.
kicking people opposite you.
You're eating your knees.
Put N across from me. They have the smallest legs.
Yes.
Yeah, I think N is sitting
So-
beside Elsa.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll sit next to Luca opposite Elsa. And
Yep.
And yeah, Fish Dog's out and like in Willow's hands. I think I don't know if it's clear, but they're thinking of just like hovering it over to N.
Yeah, N's probably like aimlessly fidgeting with their hands at nothing as they're staring
Okay.
out the window.
Get Fish Dogged.
Fish
Willow's
dog
Fish
be
Dog over
upon
to you.
ye. Yeah, it kind of Fish Dog's approach kind of calls N back from the million miles away they were staring out the window.
Mhm.
They hold Fish Dog between their two hands and kind of rest it in their lap. And you're towards Elsa. Well, they want to talk, but it's really difficult to get started. They're just kind of watching
Elsa
Elsa.
sort of Elsa like gives your elbow a little pat and asks, "What's on your mind, Anne?"
I don't think I've mentioned that one of the people who lost their life at the auction was an acquaintance of mine.
She gives you a very sympathetic look and sort of squeezes your elbow again comfortingly.
I mean, it's kind of. And winces. They want to call it stupid, but they don't want to call it stupid in front of Elsa. I didn't know her that well. She worked at the auction hall, and she helped me get my hands on this rare book, and that book led me to the lighthouse. And gestures to Willow and Luca, just to kind of imply that the lighthouse means it led them to these two and Elsa.
Oh. Oh.
No matter how brief somebody enters our life, it's still okay to miss them. Even more so if the future of knowing them is abruptly cut short.
It's funny. We played some games, the two of us, and she never did manage to best me. Last game we played was a tie. Keep thinking maybe if we played one more time, she finally would have won. And I keep thinking about how one of the last things I said to her was that she could keep 90% of the profits if I ever brought her something to sell on auction. Even if it was all a joke, maybe especially because it was a joke. So unlike me not to haggle. So I just wanted to treat her.
I'm very sorry for your loss.
Yeah. She helped me out, and all it cost me was some time and a pack of smokes. pile of pancakes, and in the end, I couldn't even protect her from a few zombies.
I think Elsa just, like, gives you a side hug.
Yeah, and just leans into it.
There's a little creak of Willow adjusting in a way like they dislike that conclusion, but they're not going to say anything.
Mm.
Yeah.
Like just looking
Luca
kind of
as
out
well.
in a way. Both of us just
I mean,
like,
Elsa also disagrees with this conclusion, but
she's
right
in
now
hugging
it's
range.
yeah, she's in
Yeah.
hugging range, and also it is a little more important right now to validate N's feelings of
Yeah,
grief,
of course.
however they come out.
Yeah. Trust that Willow's is trying to be a quiet feeling. That's why they're
Yeah.
not saying. That's why they're not. No, you're wrong. Actually, it's that is
Yeah.
emotionally insincere of you. No, they're just going to quietly disagree and feel bad, honestly, about
Yeah.
the conclusion that ends come to.
I already yelled at them in an alleyway, so
My job here is done.
Yeah.
Cool.
She sounds like a vibrant person. I'm sure you'll be able to see how she affected the lives of her friends and family when we attend.
And reaches for their book now, and they bring it into their lap, and they peel open the pages to a loose one, and there's a sketch of Tassie in there.
Oh.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Don't know what I want to do with it, but I wanted to get her face down before I forgot it. Thought maybe it would come in handy today somehow.
I'm sure it will.
I keep wondering if she was involved in the attack. She was one of the staff who smuggled in the undead. Whatever. And I keep wondering if it matters. If she was an innocent victim or if she was involved and paid the ultimate price. If she knew what she was doing, if she was used, I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Sorry, Willow cut in,
Yeah.
not expecting to. They like startled themselves. They didn't mean to cut you off. They'll say, "Sorry, I just."
No. I think you're right, because I don't think it would change how I feel.
Willow kind of casts a sideways look at Elsa, like as if to confirm if they can keep talking.
Seeker Elsa gives you a slight nod of, like, keep going. Slight
Okay,
nod
Willow
of
looks-
encouragement.
Yeah, looks at Elsa and then Luca and looks like, oh shit, I opened up an avenue of conversation. I should have thought about this before just blurting it out. But we'll look at Fish Dog.
I'm gonna let you
And,
take charge
oh
again.
My God. As
And-
far as I'm aware, sorry.
And kind of
go on.
offers Fish Dog back to Willow. Just kind of lifts their hands.
Oh god. No, Willow shakes her head and like dismisses that, like, no. That's for you. Willow will say, with their head down, like not looking at Anne or anyone. As far as I'm aware, you will grieve somebody all the same, whether they were innocent or not. So the conclusions of her involvement in this are neither here nor there, logically speaking.
That smile twitches on Anne's face. Yeah, I suppose so. And looks down at Fish Dog and kind of fiddles with one of its fins.
Willow feels like they've left this in an awkward moment, so they are going to try and swerve. I met her briefly, not as myself, but she seemed nice.
Yeah. Wonder if she ever figured out that box of yours. She might have not been able to beat me at a game of dice, but she was pretty clever.
You should Willow's going to again look at Elsa and Luca quickly, so as not to absorb anything about their faces. Maybe afterwards, or whenever available, we could learn whatever games you were playing with her as a testament to Tassie.
Sure. Be happy to teach you.
I think that sounds nice.
Something to look forward to when all this is done.
Indeed. Life should be celebrated.
Yeah.
You arrive. You disembark from the cab together. There is a gathering of people in black and grey clothing outside the Grand Auction Hall, surrounding the funerary torches that mark the shrines of those lost in the attack that you weathered a mere 9 nights ago. At the foot of each torch is the name of the deceased, surrounded by offerings, flowers, trinkets, handwritten messages. Many of the people in attendance are holding paper funerary lanterns of their own, though they are currently unlit. The last rays of twilight sun still bright in the sky. The vigil will begin once the sun sets, and then it will be a long march down to the sea to release the lights over the water, as is custom in Lazar. If you like, there are a few people at the edge of the crowd that are selling lanterns for mourners at $1 a piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get one.
I'll go get them.
I imagine Luca like literally bounding off to go get them.
Yes.
Thanks,
Oh,
Luca.
I'll get everyone one.
So you can buy
Um,
5 funeral lanterns for
Mm.
5 copper.
5.
What?
4. Sorry, I can't
Yeah.
count.
Fish
One for
dog, you're
fish
counting
dog.
fish dog.
Just hang one on fish dog. Aw.
No, I was gonna say actually, Willow's when they hop off the cart and they have their mask back on, I think they're going to sort of like before we hop out, kind of ask N without asking whether they want to keep fish dog.
I think they're okay. They'll offer fish dog back. They're steady enough, and they've caught on that you're not exactly fond of it flying around in plain sight in Regalport.
Willow will nod and pocket it again. I imagine it to be a kind of quiet exchange of like a solid nod in both directions of like, you can
Yeah.
handle this, you don't need fish dog, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even through the mask, and has a way of kind of reading through the vibes.
Body
Yeah.
language.
Yeah, Willow's got that firm nod of like, yeah, you will be fine without fish dog. We're here together, after all. And I think Willow will help you out with the cart too. And,
Oh.
well, no, Luca would have helped out also, but, you know,
Yeah.
pat on the shoulder,
all
stuff
good.
like that. Yeah.
Friendship.
Mm-hmm.
So
Luca's boobying back with his lanterns. God, it's a funeral,
It
don't
is.
say that.
I have to be the most fuckable man at the funeral.
Oh my god. That is Luca's energy.
That was your mistake.
I wasn't expecting that at the funeral, dude. Am I safe to drink? Anyone
Yeah.
gonna say anything ridiculously fun? Okay.
Well, I was just going to say that Luca has to be the most fuckable man, period. It just so happens that they are at a funeral right now.
God. In Ryga's neighborhood, really? Come on.
Yeah?
It's perfectly circumstantial.
Are you saying Ryger's more fuckable than I am? Is that what
We need
you're
to
implying
We're not
here?
having this conversation right now.
Because you know you'd lose.
Oh my
Hands you a
God.
lantern.
Hell. Anyway, back to the poignant moment that we're having here.
Yes.
Yeah, we will take a lantern.
Yeah.
So,
I know Anne wants to cast Detect Thoughts. I'm just trying to figure out when and where. Because they're not going to do it out in the open.
okay. Well, let me describe the scene a little more. There are 6 torches total, 1 for each of the victims, including Tarek Elham. Though his is by far not the most attended.
Ooh. What do you mean by that?
There's like crowds of people who were close to the victims who are more clustered around the other shrines. There's a
Like,
few
is-
people around Tarek Elham's shrine, but like his is distinctly less crowded and has less offerings. At least in
Ugh.
number.
Hmm.
If anybody wants to make a perception check.
Oh, you betcha,
Oh,
sweet little
sure.
purple behind.
Uh,
Okay. So, anybody in particular you're on the lookout for?
Hmm.
Well,
Familiar faces, I
Yeah,
guess.
familiar faces, Jaylee and Brina, particular of interest. And of course, any of the bitches in N's.
the dangers.
Yes.
I think
Mhm.
Willow's look is kind of like a. I think if Willow had the choice, they wouldn't be looking. So it's more of just a general perception, like
Okay.
cast around whatever catches their eye, catches their eye.
Okay.
The urge to not look at Tarek's not unmarked, but like lesser loved memorial is. Look, anyway, just it's. There's a big urge to just kind of. Oh, wait, I don't want to look at that, but they will look around.
Well, there are a handful of familiar faces. You see there's a podium set up and some people standing to the side, notably the owner
Mm.
of the Grand Auction Hall and one of the Sea Dragon captains, Horatio Ir Argamont, the bold walrus mustached man that you traded the fishing
Fish.
lure to.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Other familiar faces are Jaylee,
Yay!
who is not attending any shrine in specific. A few artists that you might recognize. Not all of them are here, but certainly the ones who were mostly native to Regalport are here. Willow, you spot the half-orc waitress that you saw
Oh.
earlier that night.
Grower, yeah?
Yes.
Hmm.
Also, I'm gonna say 2 people in particular stand out. To you, Willow, there is Warford Bartosh, who is grim-faced and sorrowful.
Bitch.
attending Tarek's shrine.
Hmm.
He is I think he's wearing like a face paint, actually. That seems to be a dwarven custom of
Like his masks?
a little bit, yes.
Hmm.
They're a little more. They're less. It's more of an abstract face paint. I would describe it as almost mime face paint in
Huh.
terms of like it is like black and white. Almost skull-like.
This strikes me as a cultural thing?
Yes.
Moorish, particularly?
Yeah. It's like a very bright white face paint with sort of dark around the eyes and like cheekbones.
Hmm.
Catches the light of the torches in an interesting way. For N, you spot the small figure of Alonzo Reedfoot carrying
Why?
funerary bouquets
Ugh.
that he delivers individually to each shrine.
Yeah, I think, and like between people, like they're not making themselves obvious, but they watch him go to Tassie's with like venom in their eyes.
Mhm.
While you watch him go to Tassie's, you notice that there is a enormous red and orange bouquet already placed among the offerings, which truly dwarfs the like small bundle of I believe calla lilies that are the funeral bouquets that Reedfoot delivers. And amongst hers are also like folded up letters, a couple of packs of cigarettes, a couple of packs of playing cards. You watch Alonzo Reedfoot briefly converse with some of the mourners as he makes these deliveries, expressing his and his master's condolences for the loss.
Okay, I need to cast Detect Thoughts. Where can I cast Detect Thoughts? I need to go somewhere. I need to Luca, come with me, hide my body.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will hide you.
Yeah, make a sleight of hand check with advantage because you are using Luca
I'm
as cover.
specifically also like separating from the crowd a bit. Not
Yeah.
doing this in amongst. Nice.
Yep,
Nice.
good. Cool.
Whoa. Nice.
Hide behind Luca in a shadow and roll the coin.
Okay.
Flick it and catch it, and then I'm gonna turn back to the crowd and do the sweep I should have fucking done at the gallery.
Yeah.
Holy shit. That was my insight check to see what N is doing. But was that a perception check? I don't know. Either way, I fail if it's sleight of hand, but maybe I can read it on their face. This is N's mind reading face.
I don't think it's entirely concealed that they have
Yeah.
that on a mission kind of look in their eye. That
Could
sharpness.
you put detect thoughts back into the
Chat?
yes, please.
Yeah, I'm gonna like
read the exact.
I'm gonna be walking around the memorial because I know it's like only 30 feet, but I'm planning to do this a sweep
Mhm.
of at least the prominent figures that were at the gallery in that 10 minutes I have.
Okay. Cool.
And mainly.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
I'm just reading the
Yeah.
things. But yes, who are you targeting? If anyone in particular?
First of all, like I said, the main faces at the gallery are my main targets. I'm mainly like just doing a brief like swipe over them to see like can I read their minds and what is their like general emotional state right now.
Mhm.
Those are like the two things. So like Jaylee included, everyone that I know the
Mhm.
face of.
Mhm.
If I may,
Yes.
if you intend to read, if I catch that N is doing mind reading and Warfred is over there, I might time it to go speak to him now while you're doing it, like while you're in the vicinity, but like not immediately towards the end of your detect magic. You know what I mean? Just if I can
Mhm.
tell that you're doing it anyway, I think Willow might be like, huh, might go speak to Warfred then.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and
Like,
did
it
like
might kick
briefly
them off to
step
that.
away and then come back with a mission look in their eyes. So I feel like
Yeah, and
Willow
I think
could
if you're
infer.
hard staring at Alonzo, then chances are Willow's going to be like, well, you are looking at pieces of the puzzle, so maybe
Mhm.
now's a good time for me to
Yeah.
suck it up and go speak to Warfred. So anyway, but you first, because Willow will wait until you've done what
So-
you're doing.
As you do a big sweep of the crowd targeting Alonzo, you target him while he is speaking. You are able to hear his thoughts, though there is like a strange, you would describe, accent to his thoughts.
Not any accent I recognize.
Um, make an insight check. No, you can't place it, but there's like a weird quality to the sound of his thoughts.
Mm.
But
I feel
mostly
like
what he is thinking on the surface is like how he's picking his words while conversing, so it's not anything. You're not his surface thoughts are normal.
yeah, I think N's like kind of mouthing a bit, trying to get the mouth feel for the accent a bit. Like maybe they can replicate this if they can. It's a far fetched idea, but they're doing it anyway. Maybe if they speak the accent to someone else, maybe they'd know it. They're just picking whatever they can, but it's very brief.
Yeah, it's
so
Smart.
I'm describing it as an accent as like for the purpose of you are hearing thoughts translated into sound,
Mhm.
but it doesn't. It's not really something that is audible.
Interesting. Well, that's notable on its own. We'll put a
Yes.
pin in that.
Yeah,
All right.
it's weird. Something is odd there.
Yeah,
Perhaps
You can't
human.
you can't quite place it,
kidding.
but there's something there.
It's
As you
repressing
do,
access required.
as you do another sweep away from Alonzo, you can hear the thoughts of most other people. There's nobody that you look at specifically that you like can't hear the beginnings of their thoughts trickle in when you focus on them. You sort of hear like many people where it's like grief or conversation or maybe an idle thought of like my feet hurt
Mhm.
or like oh god, I can't remember this person's name, you know, that sort
Yeah.
of normal thing. You briefly pass over the one of the artists that was at the gallery, though you find her like you it took you a second to recognize her because she's so dressed down in comparison. The artist of the Ascent,
Oh, yeah.
Cordelia Harmon, she is like crying,
Oh.
accompanied by her wife and children.
Oh.
The sort of general tone of her thoughts is asking for forgiveness.
Oh.
And kind of tilts
But you
her head
don't
back.
linger on that.
Yeah, tilts her head and keeps going. I imagine En's just like casually kind of wading through the crowd as they
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, I think you skimmed over Jaylee already.
Yeah, I imagine.
Her thoughts were not anything noteworthy. I think you kind of backed out very quickly once you were like, okay, I can hear. Keep moving on.
Yeah, pretty much. Here, normal emotions, like not evil, sadistic thoughts. Cool. Out. I'm outie.
My feet
like-
hurt from committing so many crimes.
God.
Murder crimes. There's so many crimes
Mhm.
happening around town.
Yeah.
It's pirate town, but you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Specifically.
Mm-hmm. But I think you, Willow, do you exchange a glance with N and be like, follow
Yeah.
me?
I think
be
Willow's
like-
going to just say,
Pardon me a moment.
and with a nod, like they are going to go to Tarek's. What is it called?
Shrine.
Shrine. And like you're going to, I assume N will notice Warfred there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that En's probably like working their way back around to Warfred.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any way here to also like, because we didn't bring flowers. Could we have brought flowers? Feels odd that we didn't.
Luke could probably organize it. God, if you want to tell me how
Yeah.
much it costed.
Yeah.
Probably
Plus,
not that
mm.
much.
And would
And
not
enough
reject.
for all of us?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
would
would have
say
bought
so,
a
yeah.
bouquet for everyone to give to someone. Probably.
Okay. Thanks. I was feeling a bit
Thanks, Nika.
empty-handed without something.
Yeah, no, I was meant to point that out too.
I was
almost
having a
imagined
breakdown, I'm
Willow might
sorry.
have, yeah, Willow might have brought their own as well, because it strikes me as them to buy one while they're out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they
there's-
bought one for Tarek, though. I think they bought one for Tassie.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
think they
I've
thought
got
of
a
Tarek.
second one for you, so here you go.
Ugh. Okay. Okay. Yeah, Willow's going to head over.
Yeah. You head over to Tarek Elham's shrine. There are various flowers, letters of poetry, a Syrian-style scarf draped at the bottom, and a mermaid gold hand mirror. Warfred Bartosz is there, along with one of the artists, the Syrian jeweler, Cress Goldsmith, and a woman in an elven mourning veil that you might recognize on second glance as Lydia Leela Stithirani.
Oh, I think before we even get into that, the site of the shrine,
Mm-hmm.
Willow walked over with intention of, I'm going to go speak to Warfred. And I think once they drew close to the shrine, it's kind of like swamped their vision. They didn't expect it to. But there is like, seeing the scarf and the little mirror and stuff, I think Willow's actually just like paused there for a sec. Like, what am I doing? They're holding flowers at Tarek Elham's grave. Like, not grave, his shrine.
Yeah.
I think it's just kind of like they are flanked for a moment by this, and they just end up kind of standing there quietly for a bit, even though they told N to follow them. It's like hold on, I didn't think this part through.
I think in that moment of like hesitation, Warfred Bartosz notices you there. And approaches. I see you made it.
Willow flinches a little and glances to him.
What's on your mind, Willow? I am asking as the DM. What's Willow thinking right now?
I don't trust that. Willow is thinking that with everything that's been on their mind, they're kind of confronted by the idea Tarek Elam is dead and he may stay dead. And what that means for everyone. It's like a just kind of rush of thoughts and also just a miserable kind of thought of like, what am I doing here? How, like, it's also just like a very frozen thought of how am I meant to do this?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do I do in this situation? I haven't been to a funeral in years. It's like, it's just a rush of like, you know, like stalling frozen thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess punctuated by I can't do this, but then like it's a kind of like suspended, similar to the thought rush that happened when they were trying to put the flowers outside of Tarek's apartment, which is like the other option is to leave. Can't leave at the moment, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, a lot of gloomy sort of urge to run kinds of thoughts. And grief, but they don't think it's just like, yeah.
I think as you are stalled there, Warford says, I am glad that you, at least, are one of the few of us who have managed to have the decency to show up to his shrine.
Okay. Willow glances. That catches their attention a bit more. They'll insight check him.
What is he thinking? Feel free
What
to
I
let
catch
me
and
know
what
at
N
any time.
catches.
Yeah. What you read, Willow, is that he is kind of angry that there isn't more fanfare around Elham's death. I think he, like, very imperiously is, come, lay your offering at the shrine. And you... While you are listening to Warfred's thoughts, it's... You feel like you've targeted for a second, because you can kind of hear Willow's thoughts.
And straightens right up.
Oh my god.
I think Anne is actually going to, because I can awaken the mind while I'm doing... Don't?
If he's reading my mind...
What if he hears
if
you?
he's reading my mind and
Yeah.
you pop into my mind, then
Yeah.
what?
Okay, yeah,
Don't-
and will second, and like jerks
But-
and is about to, but stops.
Yeah. Then, like, as you sort of... You hone in more on his thoughts, and it's like... sort of a swirling bitterness in general, but also there's like that little bit of feedback static that sounds really weird. It's like putting a microphone up to a speaker, almost.
I think En's going to turn to Luca and say, Lydia's over there. Maybe you should go strike up a conversation. You seem to
think?
hit it off pretty well with her before.
Well, you did all the talking, but
I saw you hang back.
Luca gives a look like, are we on business time?
I think En's hesitant to explain, but En's got an energy about them that I think Luca knows. Like,
Okay.
En is sending you in for a reason, they're just not disclosing what the reason is.
Okay. Then Luca will step away.
And
So
I will say, Do you mind?
Yeah, well, yeah. Warford is leading Gil over to deposit their bouquet at Tarek's shrine.
I think much as they don't want to be guided there by Warford, they will take any momentum is momentum, and they'll take that momentum and sort of kneel down to place the flowers carefully. And I think while knelt, we'll kind of stay there a bit and just like look at everything. What's like? Can I look closer at like what was given?
Yes. So, the things I mentioned before. So there are various small bouquets of flowers. There's the sort of plain, stately bouquet of calla lilies that Alonzo Reedfoot left behind. Most of the offerings are name marked.
Big names. I'm kidding. Oh, is
There's
it?
a few. There's a few names. Obviously, the Siren jeweler has left behind the scarf. I think Lydia probably left a pretty sizable bouquet of flowers that feature some of the flowers that are popular in Siri, or were popular in Siri, along with some of the flowers that are sort of native to the island of Green Tarn. It's a little more of a scraggly, like a deliberately not as pristine bouquet as some of the others. It's a little more. It has a little more personality than others. There is the gold hand mirror that is of Moorish style. That is obviously from Warfred. That has an inscription in Moorish runes on the back. You can't read it, unfortunately.
I can't read it.
No, you don't speak that language.
Can I? Is there anything else to observe? Can I ask Wilfred a question? I assume he's nearby.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a few letters. A few pieces of folded up paper. You glance at it and it looks like it's some poetry written down as well.
I assume no words will catch my eye. I think Willow might endeavor not to read people's notes.
Yes.
Especially if they can tell it's that. They're probably going to glance up at Warfred. It takes them a while, like they have to muster up the courage to talk or to stop looking, in a way. They're also a little bit fussing with like the placement. Not fussing, but like they placed it and then they kind of keep replacing it
Adjust
a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. This just doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel right at all. They'll look back at Warfred and say,
Is this yours?
It is my offering, yes.
Can I see the runes on the back? Like Mim says, I can see that something's written on it.
Yes. There is an
Okay,
inscription.
Willow's going to ask.
May I ask what that means?
It is an inscription, a personal one of my admiration for him as a fellow artist. My regret for the loss of his life. I regret that more people don't recognize his genius. He's paraphrasing, but he doesn't seem to be dishonest about it.
I think Willow will use that as good an indication as any to sort of stand up and step back. They'll sort of stand beside him, like observing the shrine.
You, angry about this?
It's deplorable that more people have not come. That more people do not recognize what a loss this is. I'm sorry, my manners are quite curt this evening.
Willow shakes their head a little.
It is to be expected at this sort of occasion.
I fear we may have to. It feels quite gauche to discuss business at a time like this, but I'm afraid we may need to reschedule our appointment once again. I have made no progress whatsoever on your portrait. I have been preoccupied. He sort of turns away from you and towards the grave, the shrine.
Is N still reading his mind?
I would like to be.
But I'd like to.
I think you're at the tail end of it. He is not entirely lying, or rather, you don't hear him lie in his thoughts, but there is a layer more to it.
Yeah.
He is... Oh gosh, what are you thinking, Warford?
I ask myself that question every fucking day.
Literally
Yeah.
me for the past 2 months, yeah.
I think... And make a... Oh gosh, I think N make a perception check.
Okay.
Dang.
Okay.
I think I
Okay,
know
good
why
to know.
that happened too. Because N is looking for Jaylee while they're listening to Warfred. They're looking in two places at once, essentially.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's like you're listening with half an ear.
Yeah.
I think you hear something along the lines of like, I need more time to make preparations.
Cool.
Whatever that means.
Yeah. Well, that's the deck is stacked in a very particular way for you, Warfred, right now, and it's not looking good for your. I hope you have insurance. Your house is about to get burned down. Anyway.
Okay.
He has to go sharpen his noose.
Oh my gosh.
We'll deal with that later.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And Willow will respond to him and say,
Of course. I think
Willow sort of hesitates a little.
I may not have known him as well as you, but
Willow shakes her head a little.
for reasons you may be able to piece together this, this will take its toll.
He nods. He was a countryman of yours.
Willow nods curtly.
I can only imagine the grief that must weigh on you on sight of another one taken too soon.
Willow says nothing.
Did you ever read any of his work? Attend his magnum opus?
Willow shakes their head. They look a little guilty about it. It's not guilt. It's not that straightforward, but they regretful.
A pity. Perhaps I can share some of it, some of my favorite pieces of his, with you at our next appointment.
Yeah, Willow will look to Warford now with a little tilt of their head that seems to insinuate like a polite smile and a nod.
Good. I will contact you later, if you'll excuse me.
Willow will nod and let him go. Is he No, it's okay. I think Willow's just going to kind of keep the arms on the lantern, all good.
Mm-hmm.
But they'll wave him off. Nod of acknowledgement.
Mm-hmm.
See you later.
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of stand there.
Well, this conversation is going between Warfred and Willow. I kind of imagined Luca was approaching Lydia and that was happening concurrently. Meanwhile, Anne
Yes.
is looking for Jaylee.
Okay. I think you find Jaylee pretty quickly. She's with a couple of friends. Let me go find where my notes on her are. She's not attending any shrine in specific, but she spots you and says, "Oh, Castor, it's good to see you."
Good to see you too, Jaylee. And we're gonna look and acknowledge the other two people that seem to be lingering near Jaylee.
Yeah. These are my friends. She introduces them briefly. They work with me at the studio. Obviously they weren't here for the... They've come to support me, so...
That's nice of them. And gives them a smile. Did you arrive pretty early, or?
Oh, no, I've only been here for about 10-15 minutes.
Same here. Haven't got up to any trouble without me, have you?
No. No.
Good.
Somebody in particular that you're here for, or?
I think N is still holding the bouquet. They haven't deposited it yet. They've just been wandering around with their arms full on a mission.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. One of the staff, I knew them, so, and kind of raises their arms to gesture with the bouquet. Tassie.
I don't think I knew her, but if you like, I can walk with you.
Yeah. Why don't you? And kind of nods towards the monument.
Yeah. Jaylee briefly, waves off her friends who leave you to be as you head over to Cassie's shrine. They've had to really put a long scroll to indicate the name of her.
And kind of pauses at that, because they mainly knew her as Tassie, and knew Taciternia was her, full name.
But her full name is Taciternia, in quotes, Tassie Agarite Wallendornus Biggs.
Ow! Biggs! But she's so small! Oh. That's so
That's
cute.
my favorite. That's the best name you can give a small person.
Yeah.
Big with 2 G's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Despite
Thanks.
themselves, and kind of laughs a little bit at that. Still making jokes beyond the grave, are you? Just like you. And we'll set down the flowers.
Yeah. As you're setting them down, you see the various offerings up close. There are some letters. There are a bunch of staff members and a handful of like artists who clearly have a greater rapport with the Grand Auction Hall. Gosh, what's her name again? Shannara de la Cruz, the artist of The Legend of Lazar, is there. Some other people as well.
Yeah. En's not gonna go like rifling through people's notes or whatever, but they are
Yeah.
keeping an eye out
Yeah.
for names.
I think the obviously the most eye-catching thing is the massive bouquet that would have probably been the same size as Tassie in life.
Yeah. Is there anything
Aw.
attached to that?
Yeah, the name attached to that is Aralda Thorani.
Thought so.
Oh.
Huh. And like lifts their head and kind of glances around as if they might see Errol if they look now, but
He's not here.
yeah, well, after lingering at a kneel by all the offerings, and I'll stand up. Did did you know anyone that was lost?
None particular, but I figured I ought to be here, Jaylee says.
Yeah. Regardless, it brings some closure, I imagine.
She nods.
You want to walk together?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
And like gestures with the lantern.
Yeah, Jaylee accepts. Let me just go tell my friends real quick.
They can come if they want.
Well, all the more reason to tell them then.
And nods with a little smile.
I think Seeker Elsa appears near you, and she says, "Would you like to talk with some of the people who knew her?"
And peers back towards the offerings. Maybe?
I can do the talking for you if you'd just like to listen.
Would you? I feel a bit rambled.
She nods. She takes your arm, so now that you have one hand hooked on her elbow. Reverse of what was happening earlier, and goes around to talk with the people who are close to Tassie, and basically does the interfacing for you, the speaking on your behalf. Asks what is happening, if there are any family members nearby. Through Seeker Elsa, you find out that her ashes are going to be sent back to family in Zalargo. Tassie had many, many friends here.
Yeah. Again, might pipe up during one of the conversations to ask if anyone knows the address.
I think you end up speaking to one of Tassie's closer friends, who is a dwarf girl, who is making the arrangements to send things back. And she says, yeah, why?
And like looks a little lost at Elsa and then reaches for their book. I wanted to send something back to her family. And we'll produce the sketch before they lose their nerve.
I think the dwarf girl sort of reaches out and takes it, and it's just like, oh, it looks just like her. If you want, I can send it for you, or...
Yeah, you sound like you're all set for it. Probably easier than me figuring it out.
Do you want to sign it real quick?
Oh,
Write anything on it? Or, you know what, you exchange contact details so that whatever
yeah.
can be sorted out.
Yeah. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's Tassie for you. She could make friends with anyone, anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, she could.
So while that comes to a close, we cut over to Luca and Lydia de Thorani, who is dressed considerably down compared to her other appearances. If you guys hadn't met her earlier and taken note of her in particular, you might not recognize her. She's not really so much in disguise as she is not standing out. Oh, good evening.
Good evening. Sorry, I didn't know how to approach you without being awkward. But
It's fine.
I just wanted to, since the moment was appropriate, extend my condolences, but that doesn't feel right in this circumstance. If that makes sense?
It is complicated, yes. Still, I feel that I would regret it more if I didn't attend.
I feel the same. I don't really know anyone, but Luca nods, holding the flowers awkwardly.
Lydia
surprised.
sort of gives you a little nod behind her veil.
I'm quite surprised his shrine is so humble.
Yes, well, he might not remain departed for long.
That's true. I suppose everyone is feeling a bit of that. Complicated.
Yes. Certainly, those who already know about that are not in attendance at the moment.
Actually, if I look around, do I see Miraldine anywhere?
No.
No.
Of course not.
Of course not. What if, do I notice anything interesting about his shrine?
I think the stuff that I mentioned to Willow earlier.
Yeah. Maybe you could tell me what it says on the mirror.
Oh, I'm afraid I don't read Moorish.
Oh, no, that was a you god. Yeah.
Oh, right, you can read Moorish.
Yeah, I can.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Luca almost did too, but
Yeah. I feel like he kind of like looks it over and then has a moment of realization that he knows what it says.
Yeah. It's like, wait, I understand this.
Yeah.
I get
Wait,
that
I
reference.
can read?
I can
Auto
read,
translated.
bro.
Yeah, it's a bit of difficult to translate Moorish verse that basically is like I regret that you were not more famous, that people did not understand your brilliance in life.
Yeah.
And something to the effect of like, there's like an untranslatable pun about reflection and legacy in there. It's like, I didn't write this down exactly.
Sorry.
So it's okay. My
I'm sorry, I'm
fault.
so smart.
Yeah,
No, it's
yeah.
Warford's fault.
It's
Yeah.
always Warford's fault.
This is true. Fuck that guy.
Indeed.
Fuck you in particular.
Yeah. It's something to the effect of, may this light your legacy. I regret that. Yeah, it's basically the thing that I said earlier that
Yeah.
Warford said to Willow.
But nothing sus like, I regret that your murder was so poorly executed by myself.
No.
I didn't kill you in this way
I
instead
wish
of that way.
more people had seen your corpse.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, may this reflect upon you the same way I have reflected upon witnessing your murder or participating.
Planning your murder.
Bro, if you could have seen your own face. These are all,
Speaking
this
of
is all
Warford,
conjecture.
actually, I should have. Willow, could you make me one more perception check?
Don't shudder like that. Oh, hell yeah.
I love you, Willow. Just mean.
As he is walking away from you, at some point you see him adjust his jacket, and you see a little flash of silver on the inside.
Oh, fuck! What do you mean?
What?
That's for you to interpret and me to stab him.
Oh, shit! On the lapel,
On the inside of his lapels, yeah.
Oh!
Oh.
Shit. Hey!
Please inform me of this later.
Yeah, maybe after the funeral, huh? Oh my god!
At the funeral, I want to go and confirm. I want to go and have a look.
Oh
Wait.
shit!
If we're gonna wrap up the conversation with Lydia, I think I would just offer to spend the evening with her if she came alone. Not like that. Like walk with her
Most
if she
fuckable
came
guy.
alone.
No.
I think she says, "No, it's all right. I have companions with me here."
I'm glad to hear. Times like this, it's best to be with people who can lift your spirits.
I agree. Well, I'm glad you're here. I suppose you'll have a chance to hear a performance sooner rather than later.
Luca inclines his head in questioning.
Lydia just gives you like a slightly mysterious smile.
I feel like Luca can kind of interpret what she means and
Yeah.
maybe ends up smiling back at her like, oh, lucky me.
Have a good evening.
You as well, miss.
She gives you a sort of gentle inclination of the head and a curtsy, like a very short curtsy.
And I'll do the same.
Yeah.
I too will curtsy.
You would.
I would. But I'm not wearing
Yeah.
the right dress for that, so.
Yeah, I hope you bow a little bit, just because it's
I
handsome
do.
of you.
Of course.
Yeah. Of course.
She's a lady. She deserves it.
I'm a knight.
Mhm.
Holy shit. Sorry, I feel like while you have been talking to Lydia nearby, Willow's kind of just been processing that
Yeah.
Because they've been thinking about that for a while. Also, I feel like they are standing near. No, I feel like that's consumed a lot of their thoughts at the moment. There's just kind of like that pause of like, confirmed. Snapdragon? Wolfred confirmed Snapdragon. That changes things because there was the question of like, is he trying to become a Snapdragon? Is he on his way? Is this his successful audition? Is that why I didn't notice it on him that night? Or did I just not know to look for it? But, oh shit. Shit. Okay.
Yeah, and gotten their own kind of halfway confirmation on that. Thus the scramble. And speaking of, they're after they're done with Elsa and the Tazzy stuff, they are probably going to orbit their way back to finding Jaylee because they're feeling a particular degree of protectiveness about everyone, but Willow can fight, so...
Yeah. Willow's got lasers, it's fine.
Yeah. I'll know if something happens to Willow in this crowd.
Just like explosion in the background, magic missiles.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also imagine that Willow, like, because I'm standing next to Crest Goldsmith, that's the person that got the songbird, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. I think Willow, like, they're fading off into Snapdragon obscurity until they, like, catches their peripherals that they're standing next to the person that took Varys' songbird, and like suddenly they're like standing very straight and alerts about like, where they are.
Make an insight check real quick.
Yeah, that tracks.
Well, you can't read this man's face. But that might be
seeming...
because he is also not emoting at all.
Could I have another go at it if I bring out Fish Dog? As in, like, to make it incite some sort of reaction.
Are you willing to do that?
All things considered?
What do you mean, all things considered? Wolfred saw me.
I mean, there are other people here at the...
Ryga. Is Ryga here? I guess I don't know.
Is the High Prince here?
Well, no. Hey, I don't see an edge.
Is this the most fuckable funeral this year?
Stop talking.
You can say it. We have to set a limit on how many times we can say that in one memorial stream.
I'm just saying I didn't start it, but I will finish it.
Can I do a quick perception check around to see if there's anybody here?
Sure, make a perception check. Not that you notice. Not anybody that, like, you would... Not anybody too high profile that you would notice immediately. I mean, that might notice you immediately, rather. There are obviously, like, some sea dragons here. Actually, just two, really, that you can notice, which is Horatio. And former sea dragon Henderson Lowell.
The retirees.
Yes.
Sorry.
Horatio is still active, but, like, you know.
Oh, he's on his way.
The older gentleman.
Yes.
There's also, like, some very important looking people in the background, but not too close to this.
Do I get an impression from this Crest guy that it's worth knowing what he is thinking? Who was he speaking to before, Wolfred?
He was speaking to Warfred, maybe Lydia, a couple other people who are attending Elam's shrine.
Jeeps. Basically what I'm thinking of, and I'm going to sort of crowdsource, Willow is sort of floating Fish Dog out of their pocket to do a quick circle around them and land in their hand. Basically as a catch your eye, you start conversation, or I can try and look at you and think of what you're... I don't know. Just something like that.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Up to you if you think talking to him is worth...
Actually, you know what I think, you know what I'm going to do is give you advantage on the inside check. Actually, just flat, because of reasons.
Okay. It's better.
The reason why you couldn't read his face at first is because it's the same face you make when you are burdened by grief, which is no face at all.
Oh, is that all?
Yes, it's the emotionally constipated grief
Oh,
of
nice.
somebody who is equally burdened by overwhelming loss, and this is just another straw that is burying the camel alive.
Aw.
Oh. The leaning in of, oh, so it's cultural. Great. You know what? No, I think in saying that, Willow's going to bring out Fish Dog on purpose then.
Okay.
And sort of let it float into their hand. And might even float it over to Mr. Goldsmith.
I think there's a little startle, and then he glances over at you and does sort of a stiff nod
Hmm. Hmm.
of
Fish Dog returns to,
acknowledgement.
yeah, Willow. Fish Dog returns to Willow, and they will also like tip their hat in acknowledgement to him. It's a subtle but hopefully caught gesture of, "Hello, fellow.
Yeah.
Here for you in some weird abstract artificial way. Also, you have my songbird in your pocket that represents so much to me. Not your pocket, probably in your trunk, but
Mm.
yeah, just a little connection where they can.
Yeah.
They might talk to him after. I don't know. Who knows? Just for now, that's the start of something.
Yeah.
It's just that I'm here.
Yeah.
And he can decide if he wants to talk or not, or if they're just going to stand and grave the company.
I think there's like a moment of maybe false start, and then he sort of sighs and just looks back at the shrine and then moves as there is a speech beginning.
Yeah.
To mark
Okay.
the start of the march.
Willow will linger a little beside the thing. I think Fish Dog does a little, it's almost as if Fish Dog goes to pay its respects at the shrine. It's not what it's doing,
Mhm.
but it almost looks like it sort of ducks down,
Yeah.
sits there a moment, and then like catches up with Willow as they start walking away,
Yeah.
tuck back into their pocket.
I think, Luca, as you sort of move to reconvene with your friends towards the podium, you're probably the one most likely to read the names of the other people who passed.
Of course.
As you walk past each of them, there's Tarek Elham, there's Tassie, there's Grace Fullsmith, who was apparently a human security at the Grand Auction Ball, who was killed by zombies while defending guests during the attack. There are staff members and a few friends and relatives who were not present at the auction attending their grave. There's some flowers, letters, a smithing hammer. There's Artemine Garsko, half-elf, also security at Grand Auction Hall, was killed during the theft. There are flowers, some collected snail shells and seashells, letters. Similarly, there are staff members and a few relatives and friends. There's Sharsa Skibbler, who was killed during the theft by being pushed down the stairs.
Him.
I'm sorry.
There's flowers, drawings, small trinkets of cheap jewelry and such collected at the bottom of the shrine. Her sister appears to be there, being comforted by the other staff and friends who were not present. And finally, there is Kurt de Boul's who was half-orc security at the Grand Auction Hall, killed during the theft by necrotic magic. There are flowers, drawings, scarves, decorative pieces of antler and horn, and is being grieved by 7 of his children, some of them adopted, some of them natural born, many grandchildren, and they have brought along the family cat. You hear a brief wail of someone saying that he was 2 days away from retirement when he passed. And then you reconvene with Anne and Elsa and Gil.
Okay.
As you hear the owner, Belkazar Canterton, beginning the ceremony with a short speech about the grief he personally feels for this violent attack and his assurances that every measure is being taken so that this will never happen again and never be forgotten. He thanks all for their attendance and hopes that the vigil can provide some comfort for those who are left behind. He then hands the podium over to Captain Horatio Argamont. Captain Horatio is making his appearance on behalf of the Sea Dragons, giving a speech on the tragedy of the affair, and while that they regret the lives lost in the attack, many more survived due to the bravery and quick action of those present who defended and healed, including some of the people present, and many of the victims who were lost. It is a well-written speech, delivered with a great amount of gravitas.
Yeah.
Horatio seems well-suited to public speaking.
Oh, it's got a friendly face.
Yeah. Yeah. If anybody would like to make one last round of perception checks while you're gathered in the
Yes.
crowd.
Absolutely.
Luca!
Ooh!
Your big eyes!
Oh.
Snaps for me.
Oh, shit.
Hey.
Okay. I think as you are listening, Luca and Willow, you cast your eyes around and you both spot at the same time the shape of a tall sailor wearing sort of rough working clothes who is quietly observing from the back rows. Probably you're also not closest to the podium, but you managed to spot him, who seems familiar. And then it clicks. That's the High Prince.
Oh.
Undercover? Like, is he like Lydia? Is he
Is
just
he
in such a way that
incognito?
it doesn't catch your eye immediately, or?
I mean,
'Cause he's
I
a
think
sailor.
he looks like a regular sailor, except for the slight glint of armor hidden under his rough coat. He looks like just a regular guy. I think he's wearing like a woolen cap, like pulled down pretty far.
Oh my gosh, Okay.
Oh.
He is
that's
in
interesting.
attendance in
but-
sort of low-key disguise.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
I imagine Willow and Luca, because we both caught this, that like we do the little elbow nudge of like, is that
Yeah.
is that High Prince right? Like both of us like checking with each other and giving that like sideways face, like
Surely Willow would know if that is the High Prince.
we both
I mean,
had
you
the
both
same
met him.
experience
Yeah.
of looking at him up close, and I spent most of my time looking at the ground actually. So yeah, like it's the double elbow check of like High Prince. High Prince
That's
distressed
the High
her.
Prince.
High Prince.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Anne is focused on other things. So,
Sorry.
Meanwhile, Anne is what?
focused on other things. So,
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Much to think about.
Yeah.
Sorry, Anne.
It's fine. I don't care.
Sorry, Anne. There are big fish here, apparently.
Yeah, there sure are.
Hmm.
Wry smile.
The fun thing about High Prince Ryger is that when he is not surrounded by pomp and circumstance, when he is not outwardly projecting the aura of High Prince, he just kind of looks like a regular guy, especially with like
an
a
uncle.
woolen beanie like pulled
Yeah.
tight over his head and like regular working scrubs.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
is he
damn.
doing like a Princess Jasmine? He's going out to see the workings.
I have my inferences about this, but I guess we'll save that for later.
When all the speeches are done, the memorial directors beckon people forward with their lanterns to light them with a flame from the shrine, and then to light each other's lanterns outwards in a ripple, like a stone thrown into a pond, like the small ways in which everyone's life touches everyone else. Then, slowly at first, like the tide pulling out to the sea, the crowd shifts and begins the long march down to the docks. As you walk, a voice, clear as a bell, bright as a full moon, rises above the shuffle. Someone is singing a morning song, heartbreakingly beautiful in its emotion. A few more voices rise to join the first, and eventually the majority of the march is singing in chorus while that first voice soars ahead. The beauty of it rings in your ears, even long after it is finished. You reach the stretch of dock that has been chosen for the occasion. One by one, the lanterns are released to float out on the waves, and one by one, the mourners disperse, leaving behind only the swath of bobbing lights that reflect the ring of Sybaris up in the night sky. And Jaylee walked with you, side by side, and released her lanterns with you
Yeah.
into the sea.
And watches essentially what they've deemed Tassie's lantern float down the water and thinks about how her hair reminds them of fire, so really a lantern set off seems only fitting for her. And their attention slowly ebbs from the lantern back to Jaylee. Not a direct look, but just kind of a side look to check on her, see where she's looking.
She's looking out at the sea and at the sky, the stars and the bright ring of Sybaris that streaks across the sky, the moons.
And kind of, oh, was she gonna say something?
No,
Right. And leans in a bit. And speaking of Betla, you want to know a secret?
Jaylee turns to you and tilts her head. If you want to share one.
Well, that's why I'm asking. I did grow up in Sharn.
Hmm.
Truth is, I was scared if I said so, I might have to answer questions and makes a gesture with their hand. Painful memories.
Jaylee gives you an understanding smile and sort of bumps her shoulder into yours. That's okay.
But you reminded me of something.
Yeah?
It's not always a bad thing to look back.
Yeah.
Says you're not a fighter, but you are. Maybe not a punch the head off of zombies kind, but hey, learning to stand up after everything you've been through and coming out with some wisdoms. Fighter if I've ever seen one.
If I'm a fighter, you must be a hero.
Hey. I'm just glad I was in the right place at the right time for once.
Yeah. It's nice when that happens, isn't it?
It is. Hey, do you like pancakes?
Who doesn't?
I know, right? I know this great place. They sell them all hours of the day.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Big fat stacks.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Maybe I can take you sometime.
That sounds nice. I'd like to go with you.
All right. I'll pencil it in.
Thanks, Castor.
Anytime, Jaylee.
I think the conversation sort of winds down and the crowd begins to disperse.
Is the High Prince still here?
He was at the back of the march. Do you want to make another perception check?
Yes, sir. Yes, I do. Press the button.
I'm afraid you do not find him.
No. Okay.
I'll say you might also be noticing. I think Willow, like when they kneel by, I think they'd wait until a lot of people place their lanterns, and they sort of wait till the end.
Mhm.
And then like when they place down the lantern, they'll sort of stay knelt there for a bit until they can see it wash away completely, until it sort of blends in
Mhm.
with all the others.
Yeah.
And they are. We're at the tide, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine Willow kind of kneels despite the sand. Like it's
Actually, you're on a
or is
dock.
it
You're on a pier.
on a dock. Okay,
Yeah.
how? So just like dropping, like tossing it in, or is it
Just
close
dropping
enough?
it. It's close enough that you can like drop it down when you crouch. But it's
Okay,
one of
well I
those
think
things
Willow's
where it's like you're out on the water a little more than you're actually on the beach. So you're in
yeah.
deeper water.
I think Willow's gonna stay there a bit. If they're on the edge of the dock, then they can just sit there for a little bit. If no one else is going to be there,
Yeah. Yeah.
like
You
to
waited
if
until
they're
the
not getting
end.
in anyone's way, yeah. And they'll just
So,
kind of sit
yeah.
and watch it happen for a bit,
Yeah.
with their thoughts. They didn't. This is They didn't cry while marching, I don't think, but they are just there's a lot running through
Yeah.
their mind. As long as they kind of know where their friends are, they can see ends with Jaylee, Luca's fine, Elsa, like
Yeah.
everyone's
I think
accounted for. They
Elsa
can
and
sort of
Luca are like staying close-ish to you, like not directly in your space, but within eyesight.
yeah. Willow doesn't want to feel like observed while they just kind of sit here, like knowingly
It's
by their friends. Like
yeah,
they just want to
it's
kind of
more
have a
like
moment.
it's more like if they like they're keeping track of you, but not like
Yeah,
watching you.
yeah. I think one of the things Willow observes is like as they get, the lanterns will continue floating out. Yeah, like
Yeah,
towards the horizon.
yeah.
Yeah, they sort of. What kind of day is it? Are the stars out?
Stars are very much out. It is bright and clear.
I think it gets to the point, like on the distant horizon, where Willow knows the lanterns will just blend into that middle point. That Willow always refers to that horizon line where the sky and the sea blend.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
especially tonight with the like lanterns on the water, I think it's catching their thoughts a bit that it's very, very much the sky and sea is like one thing tonight, and that's
yeah.
just waxing poetic in their head a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna make a sneaky little insight check on Willow. Could probably guess though, but yeah, sounds about right.
They are wearing a
Good job.
mask, but
I think it'll be hard to tell whether they are, are they sad? Are they, like you can't really tell what they're thinking from a distance.
Yeah. I think the main
Hmm.
thing is I can tell they're thinking something. But
Yeah.
Yeah. They're always thinking something.
yeah.
I wonder if there was nah. I was gonna say I wonder if there's anyone towards the back of the line that I might notice, but that's obvious.
Nah.
I'll look around. Or not.
Your choice.
Okay.
I think the crowd is mostly dispersed at this point. You've kind of lingered on past the point when most people are catching cabs home or walking home with who they came with. I think Jaylee is saying her goodbyes to N for the evening, is getting a ride home with their friends.
yeah, En's walking with her to like the terminal or whatever, but we'll let her go at whatever is like an appropriate point. Like, you have your friends, you'll be okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But lingers with her a little bit. Doesn't get
Yeah.
that far from
Can I-
their own group.
Yeah.
Can I make a specific check for Warfred and
He is not
Ryder?
here. Warfred is not here. You can't see Ryger. You saw him during the speeches, but like obviously you lost track of him during the march, and now there's so few people here that you don't think he's around.
Lost our chance.
I didn't mean to wait that long. Like I actually wasn't expecting. I imagined Willie waiting until like partway, not like, and everyone's left.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
you described it as being at the end of the line, that's quite a while.
Towards the end of the line, like
Okay.
I didn't expect everyone to go. Like,
Well, it's like
Um,
it's dissipating at this point.
Mm.
You described it as if you were like sitting on the docks for a while.
Either
But
way,
yeah,
if
no,
Warfred's gone, it's
Warfred
more
is
of the
not-
same. But
not
yeah, no,
here.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't have a. Basically, I'm not waiting till the party's finished. I know it's not a party. It was just long enough to sort of sit and collect their thoughts before they return to the others.
Mm-hmm. I think the one figure that does linger on is Brina Dimadani.
Yeah, well, and we'll probably notice her. And they have let Jaylee go and are confident that she's probably going to be fine. Probably.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Kicks the little voice in
She's
the
in
back of their head that says everything will go wrong as soon as you look away because that's how it works. But just have faith.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and we'll return to where they left their crew and probably see Brina. Is Brina like on the docks? Or
I think she's a bit to the side. I think she gives you a nod of acknowledgement and like a little sort of hand up wave, but doesn't look like she's in a hurry.
yeah, so and we'll give a little nod back, like they see her, they know what that's about, and they'll be with her in a few moments. They're just gonna catch up with the others, like a nod at her, and then nod towards their group,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll return to wherever Luca, Elsa, and Gil are.
Mm-hmm. Hello again, Seeker also says.
Hey, stranger.
It's getting a bit cold, isn't it?
Yeah, should have worn my jacket after all.
Well, summer is almost on us now, but the sea breeze can get quite chill. It's a beautiful night, though.
It is. And peers back towards the water and the stars and all the glimmering lights.
Mm-hmm.
How long do you think they last?
Oh, I don't know.
Once a fire starts, sometimes it can be really difficult to put it out.
Hmm.
Who knows? Maybe they'll go on as long as we remember them.
I like that.
Mhm. I like it too.
I think En hooks their arm around Elsa's, like the way that Elsa led them into the memorial. They just want a bit of
Mhm.
physical comfort.
Yeah.
Does Gil want a bit of physical comfort?
Skill
Gil
here.
hasn't said anything upon their arrival. I think Gil's just kind of been standing there,
Yeah, I
a
think
little bit poignant looking. You guys mentioned the lanterns, and they're kind of back to looking at the
Yeah.
sea and the sky again.
Yeah.
yeah, I think En had their little poignant moment and then kind of sees Gil and it grounds them a bit in what happened earlier. So they
Mhm.
peel away from Elsa a bit and with
Mhm.
a quiet thanks just for
Yeah,
everything
she
Elsa
she
did.
she pats your elbow and she doesn't mind you doing a drive-by touch.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's all you need. Little affirmation.
Yeah. Oh. And looks to Willow now. Everything alright, Gil?
Um, did I spot Brina before?
I don't think she's hiding, so.
Yeah, so she is spotted.
Do you think Willow looked that way? Because En might say something if they know you've noticed Brina.
I think they might sort of cast a side glance at Brina.
Yeah, I have a appointment with the detective.
Oh.
Yes, we need
Mhm.
to discuss some sensitive details regarding the Speak with Dead session. En's going to look at Gil very straightforward right now. Something I might know about.
Under the mask, Willow's face flinches. That's their confirmation for their earlier suspicion that you have been given reason to share about Snapdragon involvement. And considering what they just learnt about Wilfred, there's a notable sigh from inside the mask.
No, wait, Luca's confused. So.
It's okay. Willow's going to tap their head.
Yep, En's the message opens so fast. It seems like En was pretty much on their way to do that already. Just was waiting for the signal.
And Willis, even so, is hesitant. There's
Yeah.
a muddle of other thoughts there. I think N catches the tail end of just a. Do you always just catch thoughts, or is
You
it
have
also
to
feel?
do-
No, it's
you have to
You have
direct.
to
I have to
speak.
speak it,
For
yeah?
message,
So
you
this
have
is-
to be
oh, you're
more
not reading my
direct.
mind. Yes.
No,
I
yeah,
forgot.
I'm not
This is
reading your
message.
mind. This isn't detect thoughts. This is
Yes.
just message. So
I
you
got
have to
distracted. I
you
got
have to intentionally send me information.
Okay, then Willow hesitates a little bit and will eventually get the words processed, which is Wilfred Boitosh was wearing a silver pin.
Yeah, and the face is already halfway to being a bit darkened, but they give a nod. Yeah. He's dangerous. Be careful around him.
Willow nods, out loud.
Yeah. And has more information, but they don't want to share it right now.
Hmm.
Later.
And I think out loud, Willow might say,
It is rather cold, and it seems that you have an appointment to get to.
Duty calls.
Is this the sort of appointment that Luca should accompany you on?
Well, we kind of arranged it to be a little private discussion, but if Luca wants to, warm a seat for me, I won't complain.
I feel like they are having a conversation that I don't understand. So,
Willow's going to look at you now in the sense of, En's got a meeting with Brina. Would you like to be bodyguard, basically? Are you planning to be bodyguard?
can't remember what I decided. I'm
I
sorry.
think you decided yes.
Because
Yes,
Anne had,
okay,
he had an
we'll make
immense
sure
breakdown earlier.
Yeah.
It's the Willow might even add.
There is a murderer out on the
Yeah.
loose.
Well, shuffle over to Willow, hand them 5 gold. Say,
5 gold.
girls, get Secret Elsa something nice for dinner.
Willow hands back the 5 gold.
Well, like, I will, but not on your dime.
Yeah. I'm handing it back.
Okay, fine, I'll take it.
Yeah, take it. All right. Is that settled then? So Luca's going? Because Luca's
Yes.
like, huh? What?
Well, you guys told me to
Okay.
go, so I'll go.
Willow did heavily insist in your direction of like,
Yes.
Anne shouldn't go alone, should they?
If only we had
So,
a
yeah.
big protector here.
Luca like, huh?
Me? Is it
Oh,
me?
it's me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Little face from the video
Yeah.
that Sarah made.
Yeah.
Thank you.
In which
you
case,
know what?
Seeker Elsa says,
Oh.
well, we'll see you later then.
Don't make too much trouble.
I'm sure we'll be fine, won't we, Gil?
Willow's nodding, but they're also digging into their pocket. They're gonna like it's like really awkward, but wrangle out their red jacket. Does N need it? They mentioned being cold.
Yeah.
Willow's gonna shove it at you.
And kind of pauses, like, okay.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Might as well.
And I think with that bundled in their arms, En's going to turn to Willow before they head off and do the little hand hug gesture at Willow.
Oh.
Thanks, Gil.
Does Willow know what that means yet?
Willow looks at, and I gleaned it after, but then also look at Luca and sort of sheepishly say,
Luca told me that meant something quite rude.
Oh, good. That means the message is getting across.
You too, then.
Thank you.
Mm.
I take that as a compliment.
the kind of chuckle shared between them as Willow like shakes their head and goes,
Yeah. I think Seeker Elsa hooks her arm through your elbow, Gil.
Oh.
Willow has that like, ha 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 ha.
Result like a Ghibli character.
Suddenly standing very upright in the way they did when they saw Crest nearby. Just like a
And she leads you away to go get a cab back to the
Yeah.
hotel.
Okay.
I hope you have a nice dinner.
You've been granny snagged.
Funny, cute. Got some nerves in my tummy for the end conversation that they're gonna have, but It's
Yeah.
okay. It's good that Luke
Yeah.
is there.
I think maybe as you look back, if you glance back, you can see Anne pull out their hair tie and shake out their hair and turn it to Audrey as she makes her way over to Brina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll
Rena
just
nods.
follow at pace. but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rena nods. Good evening, Sostri.
Good
Evening,
evening,
Luca.
detective.
Pretend I'm not here.
Oh, that seems a little bit rude.
He's my chaperone for the night, just in case someone wants to kidnap me, not naming any names. Looks at Brina as if she's accusing Brina.
Oh my god.
Well, a funny thing about that, are you still game for that after-works drink?
That's what I was hoping for.
Right, well. No, a pretty good place, though it's kind of a hole in the wall.
Oh, perfect.
Well, let's go then. And she leads you back to the Warning Guild office after hours.
Oh my god.
Bless you, Brina. Love you.
Workplace, is that what she means?
Yes.
Gosh.
I love her. I love her.
It's a bit of a hole in the wall. Ta-da! My office.
Yeah.
She's so funny.
Luca makes a face like, I was planning on getting a fancy drink, but okay.
Do they sell cocktails here?
Something fruity.
Sorry, the best thing I've got is, she pulls out a bottle of Regal Port Royal Scotch, and some glasses. Best thing I got is some lemon wedges.
Luca makes a face like, ooh, lemon water.
God.
Genuinely excited by that, so he'll take some lemon wedges.
Okay. Yeah. They're a little bit lukewarm, rather. Brina produces a lemon from, like,
When life gives you lemons.
from a box, like, from, like, whatever the office pantry is. And she says, sorry I don't have ice on hand. I've been meaning to get an ice box for the office, but you know how it is with these things.
Lukewarm lemon.
You've been busy. I'm sure Luca
It's
will
like-
survive.
Yeah, it's, like, cool, but, like, not that cold, really.
Yeah, not chilled. Do I have a
No.
magic spell that can chill things?
You don't.
No.
Other people do.
Roselia.
Not in your party.
dead,
Yeah.
How rude.
Yet another crime by Roselia again.
Not be here to chill my lemons. Luca will make himself comfortable in the waiting room.
Okay.
Is Peter here?
Yeah.
Of course.
Does Peter want to hang out with Luca? Does Luca want Peter to hang out with him?
I mean, I wouldn't say no.
I think Brina catches your drift and is like, here, why don't you feed Peter his dinner? And it gives you like a handful of bird seed.
That will keep Luca occupied for hours.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
One seed at a time.
Yeah. The pigeon flutters onto your hand,
Yes.
like on your wrist, and is like little peck peck.
Yes.
then Luca immediately walks away because he's done. He's happy.
Have fun.
Mm-hmm.
He just loves
closes the
animals.
office. Yeah, I've noticed. Rena sort of closes the office door. Just not like lock it, but like just to give privacy.
Yeah. There's windows in this office, yeah?
Yes. But they're I think that it's like dark and it's a bit there are blinds as well.
Yeah. Audrey might just casually wander over there and kind of filter through the blinds and just see, do these windows open? How high off the ground are we?
You are on the second story, and the windows slide open from the inside.
All right, just casual. And then she'll work her way back around the desk to her side of it.
Rena pours out 2 glasses of whiskey.
Thank you. Audrey will accept. You said first round's on you. I obviously
Nah.
take great strides in not being an open book, so if you might humor me, how much have you already figured out?
Oh, well, not that much, really. I mean, I think I've seen, 3 of your faces total, Miss Audrey? The white-haired one that you wore this evening, the dark-haired one that you wore when you were snooping around the flop house where Kelson was found, and, well, current company.
Yeah.
And I know that you've been angling for me to go digging for something deeper, something to do with eyes and missing people that's clearly personal to you in some way or other, though I have refrained from picking up too much about that.
Audrey nods, little bounce of her brows as she sips.
And, I know that whatever you think is going on here really has you on edge. And that you don't have any concrete evidence to show me just yet, because otherwise you would have done it.
Very astute. Unfortunately, all I really have are my words.
Testimony is still valuable evidence, in my opinion.
Glad to hear it. Though, I do have a concern that telling you might put you in the bad books of powers even I don't really understand.
Well, I have a habit of making myself a nuisance. It hasn't really bothered me that much before. Considering the kind of weight you're punching with, this might be well above my pay grade.
Well,
Most of the time I just get missing persons cases, bit of smuggling, black market deals, that sort of thing. Maybe a murder now or then, but it's usually simpler.
oh, I'm sure. Still want to know?
I think if you're willing to tell me, then it's important that I do know.
I would agree. Interesting. You bring up missing people. Who do you think would look for you if you disappeared?
Oh, well, Celia for sure, at least. Probably family. Eventually, the news got out. I have a few friends outside of work, of course, but
Audrey
I
nods.
think I'd be missed.
That's good. Because no one knew to look for my friends when they were kidnapped. And Audrey throws back the drink, places it down on the table. You see,
Brina gives a sip of hers and watches.
They were working at a theater when late one night they were attacked by a monster. It snatched them up bore into their mind, dug out every painful little secret, afflicted them with so much agony and fear, they thought they'd die. Oh, but they didn't. Instead, they were taken backstage, where their eye was carved out by humanoid hands. And then, they were forced to take part in a morbid play, where many others were killed, made into gruesome pieces of art for the pleasure of a willing audience. What Tarek recited sounded so familiar. All my friends' fears and secrets ripped out of them, fed upon, put on display. My friend was the only survivor. They still don't know who exactly did this to them, or why those people died. And they have no proof it happened. Well, except for one thing. Audrey adjusts her eye patch.
Rena doesn't seem to be surprised that you have an eye under there, but she is like obviously taken aback by this all and is like listening to this with a very serious expression.
Audrey pours herself another drink.
I think Brina was about to do that.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
As she saw that, just picked up the bottle and poured Audrey another round. Yeah, I don't fault you for playing that card pretty close to your chest. That's awful, Miss Audrey.
Audrey just sips her drink. But there is one thing I can say for certain.
Which is?
Audrey leans in a bit. These killers wore silver pins in the shape of tragedy masks. And I know, well, I knew at least one person attending the gallery was wearing that kind of pin. Now I think I can give you 2.
Oh. Well. Yeah, that... With the testimony from Speak with Dead of Mr. Elham, I think that's enough to be a damning piece of evidence, at least enough to indict.
Audrey nods. Hoping so. Can you guess who one of them might be?
Well, you've been angling for some time at the butler of Sir Edmund Beckett, I believe his name is Reedfoot.
Correct. Now I can't confirm if that one has a pin. But his master? I saw him on the night.
Rena grimaces. That's complicated then.
Indeed.
See, the thing is, I did follow up on that lead of yours with a bit of discretion. I'm afraid Beckett's alibi checks out for that night. At least
Yeah.
the one that we attended. And I mean, it's airtight.
Yes, unfortunately.
Not even suspiciously airtight.
Yes, unfortunately I agree, because I saw him. And my boss, my other boss, saw him choking on smoke and smog in the auction hall, so unfortunately I'd have to agree, but someone who does have a slightly more suspicious alibi, someone I pointed out as having a suspicious alibi the other day, or earlier today.
Yeah, Wilfred Bartosz.
Mm-hmm. I have it on good authority that he is also wearing a pin.
Well then. And certainly paints his actions in a particular light.
Indeed. One reason I didn't tell you all this from the start is I also have it on good authority that Edmund can see the, air quotes, truth of matters. So if you approached him with what I just told you, I was concerned he'd see through you and either flee or eliminate the problem. And that wasn't for a lack of faith in your abilities, that was due to the fact that I don't believe Edmund or his ilk are playing very fair.
Well, that's makes us better than them, isn't it?
I suppose.
You've given me a lot to think about, Miss Audrey.
Happy to be of service. To be frank, I don't know if it's safer to say something or not. What I do know is it was ignorance that got my friend hurt. And I'm tired of bodies piling up.
Rena gives you a very sympathetic look. On that we can agree, for sure. I'll have to think of a way to figure something out. I have a question.
Yes?
That hearing thoughts power of yours,
Mm-hmm.
that spell you have, where did you learn that from?
It came to me in a dream.
Alright. Well, if you don't want to answer that, it's your prerogative.
To be frank, I started dabbling in that kind of magic because I believe the people who kidnapped my friend might be very capable of the same thing, thus my concerns about sharing information.
Yeah, I was wondering if it was something like that.
Oh.
Well,
Yes.
thanks for confirming it.
Audrey gives a little nod and sips her drink.
Hmm. Well then. Rena sort of sips her drink as well, knocks it back, finishes drinking, stands up, paces around the room a little bit. So, let's see what we have on our hands. We have suspicion that somebody with a tragedy pin was present before Mr. Allen's murder. We know that they were in attendance of the auction that night and likely had access to some kind of monster, or worst case scenario, they were a monster in disguise.
I have considered that.
Well, there's things that we could test for, if that's the case.
Might be worthwhile.
The issue is, if these people really are as slippery as you say, then I'm not sure that, prosecution is necessarily a foolproof way of seeing justice done.
Audrey, like, a smile grows on her face and she contemplates her drink at that. Oh, I know.
But there are ways. I think we have a pretty strong case for our most likely suspect at this point. It's just a question of finding the evidence that'll stick.
Yes, that is why I asked about stakeouts and borrowing Peter and such things.
Yeah, well, I mean, if we're on the same page about Mr. Bartosz being our chief suspect, then it's not that big a deal for me to have Peter follow him around.
Yeah, well, might be a good start.
She nods. I do want to tie up some loose ends with my interviews tomorrow, but this is good. We're filling in the holes. Pretty soon, I think we'll have this whole case figured out.
Yes, I do feel like we're getting warmer. Happy I could be of some help. Audrey sips another, like, full glass.
Yeah, you've been more than just some help. You've been invaluable. I think if I didn't have you literally feeding me the information that you have, kind of doubt I would have figured it out this quickly.
A thought crosses Anne's mind, really. But they just kind of smile with Audrey's face and finish their drink. Well, I'll be here until the end, rest assured.
Oh, I hope so. With any luck, we'll see, those responsible adequately take responsibility for their crimes. One way or another.
Fingers crossed.
Preferably legally. But I am well aware that I am living in a town of pirates and, considering the attitude of, Captain Frostroot when somebody insulted Mr. Alham on the night, I'm not too hopeful for the prospect of whoever's guilty.
To come away
living
with their
along.
head?
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's quite right.
Well, Meraldine did declare a duel on that night. Maybe she'll get it after all.
Mm-hmm. I think as we see Brina and Audrey conversing, let's cut to Luca briefly.
Me? Just playing with my
Yes.
best bird friend?
Yeah. As you are doing that, you've got the lights on so that you're not sitting in the dark of an office that doesn't belong to you, though it's like dark out.
Yeah.
There is a knock and then rattle at the door.
Oh. No one should be here this late.
No.
No. Go to the door silently. Is there like a peephole?
Yeah, there would be a peephole.
I'll put my hand up to it, my prosthetic hand for a second. just in case the movement is like an arrow to the face.
Nothing.
And then if
there is
if I-
another knock and rattle.
Then I'll check who it is.
It appears to be someone wearing a hooded cloak, looking about a little anxiously.
Oh man.
There's another knock.
Look at Peter. What does Peter think I should do?
I think Peter coos and lands on the handle to twist it and let the door open.
Okay. I will assist the bird if he needs it.
Yeah. I think you
If you say so.
basically you pull the door open and stand out of the way so that this person can get in. And there's a little gasp and it's like, I'm looking for Detective Madani.
Yes, this is her office.
Is she in right now?
She is. She's just speaking with someone, but I'm sure she'll see you if I'll like gesture for them to come in.
They come in still wearing that hooded cloak and trying to conceal their face a bit.
Who should I say is calling?
I
Closes
have
the door and
a witness to the events of the Grand Auction Hall.
oh, that is important. One moment. I'll gently tap on the door.
There's a tap at the door, and Rina says, "Who is it?"
It's Luca. There's someone here to see the detective.
Rina gives a puzzled look to Audrey,
Yeah, Audrey returns it.
and then
I've not let
No.
my eyes off this person.
Yeah, I think Audrey starts touching at one of the concealed knives she keeps in her trousers. Okay, you know what? No, fuck it. En's gonna cast Detect Thoughts.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, can Lucas look also be like a perception check or something? See what she's doing, or
Yeah.
is that
Can I see
a thing?
anything about this
Or-
person?
This make an insight check, I think, or
Insight.
perception check. Your choice, either.
I want to perceive who this person is. No,
No,
I don't.
sweet, sweet.
They are heavily cloaked and like to the point where it's like almost magical shadow being cast over their face so that they're unrecognizable.
Alright,
Oh,
well,
okay.
Audrey takes out a coin and runs it. They have no reason to hide. Brina's
Yeah.
the
Rina's
only one who
aware.
can see her and knows.
You cast Detect Thoughts out. Do you catch a glimpse of the borderline hysterical surface thoughts of I have to tell the detective of my involvement. I have to confess.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my
Yeah.
Tassie's
Oh.
death rests on my shoulders.
Oh
I think
my
Audrey's her usual face just drops in almost shock. And she looks at Brina. I believe we have a Therani at our door.
Well, in that case, let it in. I meant to say M, but you know.
No, I'm keeping that. I'm keeping that. Okay, Audrey will march on over to the door and open it. Come in.
I think the figure hurries past, pulls off his cowl, and says, "Detective, I have a confession to make." Oh, Mr. Harold Atharani.
A
What brings you
pleasure.
here this late? I'm so sorry, but the criminals who were involved in the theft and the attack of the zombies, I am acquainted with them. They sold me the weapons for my sculpture, and they were very personable, and it just comes babbling out of him. He is crying, and quickly just absolutely dominates the scene with his babble as he explains that his involvement in the case was actually much less than he thought he was. But basically, he was the contact who allowed Vaelia and Dragovich, to a lesser extent, to get their foot in the door with the staff at the Grand Auction Hall. He was buying foraged weapons from them. He had no idea about this situation, but he feels extremely guilty for it.
Oh,
He worries that they might have killed Tarek Elham because of his distaste for the man. He maybe mentioned it in passing.
Okay.
And Brina just like flashes Audrey and Luca a look and says, "Why don't you come into my office and I'll set up a scriber and you can tell me everything you want."
I'm going to get him some tea.
Yeah.
He seems stressed.
Audrey pours a drink, but not for him. And takes it.
I think Brina like sees that and like caps the bottle and puts it away. I think you've had enough. Sorry, Miss Audrey.
Audrey gives a little toast with like her mouth still full. Thanks anyway.
I'm gonna bring tea and I assume tissues. I assume he's crying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
My golly, I assume he's snotting.
Yeah, a little
truly.
bit.
Yeah.
He is.
Boy.
He is in
Oh.
a state.
Honey.
Brina sets up the scriber and has a quick little aside with Audrey and Luca and says, "I think this is gonna take a while. Why don't you head on home? In the meantime, thank you so much for coming out here. I'll fill you in on the details when I can. Yeah. This is gonna be some time."
You've got quite a night lined up. If I could ask one more
Mm.
favor.
Of course, what is it?
Just, if he has his wits about him, see if there's anything about Tassie that he knows.
She nods. I'll keep it in mind.
Appreciate it.
We as a group know that he seems to have time missing, right? In his
It's
memory?
actually not time missing, it's bad lying.
Oh, honey.
Oh.
Off.
Wait, actually?
Uncertain of- It was literally him being like, "Oh, I don't really remember what I was doing at the
Oh my
time."
god.
Oh, wait!
Oh,
Wow.
So we've confirmed that he was not meddled with. He is just
An
An idiot.
idiot.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it came out in his babbling, so we heard it, and it's like, okay.
That's
Oh.
so funny though, because you warning me about that is legit. It's just the wrong avenue.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, we'll just leave that out there.
Oh my
Hate it.
god,
Errol Red Herring.
Errol, you.
Oh.
God damn it.
Uh,
All
I have
right.
such a headache. His
I
arrival.
can-
He's a
just prompted
headache-inducing
such a stress
man.
headache.
Anyway.
Oh, because I said that I didn't like Tarek, and then he died. Oh, I didn't mean to do that.
God.
You don't have that much power, you dumb idiot. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
oh.
He's so self-important. I want to. Tarek was so right to immediately insult him upon seeing him. What an idiot! Didn't he boast about how he got his own weapons, like he foraged them himself?
No,
Wasn't that
he
one of his
said that
boasts?
it was that they were legitimate weapons from the last war.
No.
Oh,
Oh,
he, is
Errol.
He was
so
buying-
stupid.
Yes, like Errol is not likable, let's say. But he's
That's
not a
very kind
murderer.
way of
Let
putting
it in, says Brina.
Oh my god! Might as well let it in.
Yeah.
That's like
Well,
favorite
Audrey,
quote of the episode.
Audrey will say goodnight to the detective and thank her
Yeah.
for listening and heal off.
Yeah.
So will Luca.
Just
Yeah.
imagining you close the door and you hear the beginning of the and then I
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lord.
Errol Dothrani busting in.
Oh.
My sweet summer idiot.
You stupid, pathetic lad.
I think Luca gives Audrey a face when the door closes behind him.
Yeah, Audrey gives it back, just a tense-lipped look. Like, I do not envy the detective.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god, he straight up just lied. What an idiot.
Ugh.
What a dumbass.
Idiot.
Stupid bastard.
Stupid
Oh
little
well.
Idiot. Thank you for leading us to the leading us incorrectly to the right conclusion, but stuff you, dumbass.
Oh my gosh. He
Mhm.
doesn't deserve to have had me flirt with him. I'll just say it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Luca. Not everyone you
It's okay,
flirt
moved on
with is
to
going to
Lydia.
be a winner.
Kidding.
Sorry, what, Mim?
I said you've moved on to Lydia.
Oh, yeah.
You move it up in the world. Anyway.
Anyway,
Oh my god,
Are
I have
we-
a headache.
Shall we head home?
yeah.
Yep.
I think we zoom out on Audrey and Luca leaving the detective office together while Brina stays up late
Poor thing.
with the scriber pen recording Aldotharani's jumbled tale of woe.
God.
Who's woe?
Oh,
Everyone.
Everyone in his vicinity, the
Everyone
AoE
has to
effect of
hear
woe.
An AoE of woe.
Ow.
Yeah, that's it.
Hey, speaking of, woe, will woe.
yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Let's cut back to the cab ride back with Seeker, Elsa, and Willow.
I assume it's getting quite nippy. I assume Willow's going to like prioritize going home rather than wandering around the pirate exchange to look for food.
Yes. You're probably going to get food closer back to the hotel.
Yeah, or at the hotel. I assume they would have offerings of food. Late? Or no, is it too late?
It's not that late. You can get
Okay.
food.
Willow will mention. What's the vibe actually with Elsa when we hop in? Willow will help her into the cart and everything. Does all
I
these
think
suitable
it's-
things.
I think it's relatively relaxed.
Yeah. I think Willow, firstly, just to kind of break the silence of them being together, is going to say,
Luca gave me no less than 5 gold to make sure that you were fed tonight. So
Oh dear.
I trust we can find food closer to our lodgings.
Oh yes, absolutely. Also, I doubt I could eat through 5 gold in a week, let alone a night.
You'll have to tell your grandson that.
I'm afraid Luca isn't very good with numbers.
Willow like hides a laugh. The little like mechanical sounds of
Like,
happening behind their hand.
I think Seeker Elsa also is like a little bit giggly.
Sort of drifts a bit as they did just come back from a funeral. It's like there's the relief of stepping away from the memorial a bit and like
Yeah.
kind of leaving that moment where it is, which is of course the purpose of memorial, but it's also a strange feeling for Willow to be left with. Like,
Yeah.
do they feel lighter after that? They're not sure. They don't really know how to feel about that. So they'll just settle back into like a quiet, almost guilty, I guess, for laughing. It's that strange non-guilt from before.
Mm-hmm. How are you doing this evening? I know Anne really appreciated you being there for them.
Willow, man, they sort of really know. Rather than the usual, "I'm fine, thank you." It's kind of just like a long pause, like a few false starts, and then like a little head shake.
There seems to be something on your mind.
Willow briefly considers they should have foreseen this. But maybe they did foresee this. Maybe they did this on purpose. This is one of those, like, Willow looking at their hands being like, you put yourself in this situation for a reason. And so I think, yeah, Willow will muster up the courage to say,
I suppose there is one thing that you may help me with.
By all means.
Willow's feeling a little hot in the face, I think, too. So they're going to remove their mask.
Good. Okay.
Yeah. They'll give her like a polite kind of smile, but then return to looking at the ground while thinking. How does, according to your, in your experience, how does one determine who gets resurrected and who doesn't?
Well, that is quite the question. In my experience, resurrection is a very difficult thing. Not easily achieved, both in terms of skill and in terms of resources. It is a very costly procedure, even when you catch someone just in the moment. For those who have only just passed, say they have choked or fallen due to injury, sometimes it is more like calling someone back from falling unconscious, just a little more extreme. For people who have been dead for longer than that, it is much more complicated and not always guaranteed to succeed. First of all, you cannot bring back those who have died of age. Sometimes you also cannot bring back those who do not want to return. The soul is a fickle thing, and if it is not there to be returned to its body, then there is simply no hope of resurrection at all. As for determining who gets to come back, aside from the limitations of the magic as I've described, it is, I'm afraid, purely circumstance and resources that determine.
Willow clicks their tongue a bit at that, and they'll like add, but if it does truly come down to money or resources and access to them, then the idea of resurrecting somebody under selective circumstances goes against everything I've stood for. If only the wealthy have access to the magic, then what to say of everybody grieving someone lost at the auction today? At the memorial today. The auction hall.
It is deeply unfair, and I know that in my past, within the faith of the Blood of Vol, there are moments where a community will come together to bring back somebody who has passed before their time. But like I said, it is difficult.
Because then you must determine the time.
Indeed. Not only the time, but as I said, it is a difficult spell, even for the most skilled of practitioners. Things go wrong.
Of course, but
And sometimes they go wrong in ways that are beyond repair.
it shakes their head a little. They are struck again by that thought of what it looks like when it goes wrong. Not only it's been a recurring image in their mind of something, they don't really know how to put it into words, but something worse than what they know. And what they know is the corpse of Tarek Elhum suspended from that dragon. So, like, what's worse than that is something unforeseen, and just the expression of Miraldine, like, in horror at what she's done. Like, that's the main thing that keeps flashing across their mind when they think about this resurrection thing, which is why they can't, part of it. The other part of it is, how is N supposed to feel about this? You know, they're grieving their friend at the same time as someone is buying back their partner's life. It doesn't add up, like, to Willow. It just doesn't make sense. It isn't fair. Like,
Yeah.
and the conclusion that Elsa seems to be suggesting is that it just isn't fair, and it's a circumstantial thing.
Yeah. She agrees with you. She is running a, like, low-cost, almost barely above the water local clinic for her neighbors, where she barely charges anything except for, like, the cost of supplies and, like, keeping herself and the people she cares for in good condition. So
I think Willow's been kind of looking around the room, but then they're going to, like, glance up at Elsa to see how she seems to feel about it, and I'm supposing they catch a bit of that.
yeah. It is deeply unfair. And, as you might guess, against my faith, I mean, life itself is holy to me.
Willow tilts their head. What does she mean by against their faith?
How much do you know about the faith of the Blood of Vol?
I'm not sure. I think the only things I know are, like, what I've observed from Luca and Elsa. I don't know if Willow will fully know what that means.
I see that you have some unfamiliarity with the subject. Would it be alright if I explained it to you?
Willow nods.
Well, the seekers of divinity within believe that it is the spark of life, the soul within, that is the thing that is holy in this world. It does not matter what gods or angels or fiends exist, because the fact of the matter is that life is what is most special about this world. And that if there are gods, they are wicked and cruel for allowing death and suffering to exist at all. So, we reach into ourselves and we reach out to each other to make our lives as full, as rich, as divine as possible by living, by loving, by sharing with our fellows, by building community, by forming bonds with our blood. And the hope is that one day we will find each inside ourselves a spark of the divine and be able to become more perfect beings that can transcend death instead of simply being snuffed out and fading into the oblivion of Delur when our souls have passed this plane. The body is just a vessel for what houses the divine.
Okay, Lulu's processing that. Does that then mean that the resurrection is not something the faith would condone? Or how, I'm just trying to connect it back to what she said initially, in case I misunderstood.
Basically, she's saying that nobody should have to die, ever.
So the
Death is the enemy. So resurrection is a good thing.
right.
The fact that, like, death is a reality means that this world is flawed.
So the
that, like-
baseline is different from the
Yes.
get-go.
Yes.
Okay, so the resurrection isn't the unjust thing. The dying part is the unjust thing.
Yes.
So by that metric, anything done to prevent or
Combat,
reverse the dying is
yeah.
fine?
Is good.
Okay, Will is processing that in real time. Because that is a complete deviation from anything Willow would consider normal logic. Not in a bad way. Willow does know that, like, dying sucks. That's shit. You should avoid that. But, like, not in that way where it's, like, fundamentally groundwork different.
Yeah.
Because that changes the tune of, like, the direction of the question changes in that way.
Yes.
And then I think to process this, Willow will sit for a bit and then return to Elsa to say, so saving a life using all the resources at your disposal, even if that life is by a known standard to myself, lost, is something that should be supported,
She
I
nods.
suppose.
The world is cruel and harsh, which is why we must do everything to make the world a better place.
Of course, I'd agree with that quite simply.
But you have perhaps not considered it from the perspective I just illustrated.
Willow shakes their head. It's like a little startled shake of their head, like they didn't. And they instinctively kind of feel bad about that. Like they have a
It's
hole
so-
in their education a bit.
It's all right. I mean, faith is not for everyone. But I am happy to explain it to you. Especially since it is something that I and Luca share quite closely.
Willow nods.
I suppose if you wanted to put it in the simplest of terms, I have seen that the world is cruel, but that people are kind. And that kindness is the thing that I put my faith in, that I work to cultivate in myself and my fellow faithful. That we are compassionate above all else, and that we seek to improve our lives and the lives of the community, so that we may live long enough to find the spark of the divine within ourselves.
was listening, but at the same time, I think they've started tapping their lip and they are thinking, and they will respond. And I suppose by my logic, if I am to recalibrate my perspective, then the issue should not be so much that the resurrection happens, but rather that it should be accessible to more people, and inevitably, as all things develop, it will become accessible to more people, and then maybe in time, it kind of like comes to a they sort of like come to a conclusion on their own. Doesn't fully make sense, like it's a non sequitur. People like test people. Yes, I understand. So pointed in a different direction, of course, arrives at the better conclusion, which is not to give in to the doom of it all and to instead look towards the possibilities, yes?
Yes.
Much
Like medicine, the more we
Much like
learn and
artifice. Pardon, sorry.
the more we learn
Pardon?
and understand, the better it is for everyone who gets access to it.
A step in the right direction.
Indeed.
Little light bulbs kind of gone off in Willow's head.
I see I've sparked something inside that mind of yours.
Willow looks a bit sheepish, and then flourishes the hand. The divinity within, I suppose.
I'm glad. I do like talking with you.
Willow looks bashful a bit, and they'll probably say after a bit of like, looks like they're about to jump out the cab, but they can't, so they won't.
Mm-hmm.
I'll admit your perspective is both very unfamiliar and quite homely in its own way. I don't
I'm
know if
glad to
homely
hear
means
it.
what I... Pardon me.
It reminds you of home in this case.
Yes. Yeah. Willow fades off with that thought, like, oh, they just said that out loud, huh? Okay.
Well, I'm glad. You know, I would not mind speaking with you like this a little more. You always seem to be so busy. But when you do spare some time, you seem to be quite the gifted student. You take on ideas like a duck to water.
Willow obviously doesn't make that sound, but they look sheepish again. Don't know how to respond to that.
Take the compliment.
Thank you, Willow will say awkwardly.
Elsa just gives you a kind smile. You arrive at the Gold Dragon, so you are given an out.
Leaps
I
out
think
of the
Willow
couch.
Willow actually feels the cart come to a stop and then looks at Elsa and goes, "Oh, thank goodness," and opens the door. They're beyond the point. They know that Willow, like, that she can see them stress in these situations, so they're at the point where they make fun of it now.
Yeah.
Aw.
And they put their mask back on and like hop out, like ready to help her back out of the taxi, out of the cart.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then they will say to her when she's out,
Thank you for helping me get my ducks in a row.
Of course. Let's go have that dinner then, shall we?
Yeah, Willow will
And
lead
she
her
hooks
back.
Yeah, she
Oh,
hooks her hand in your elbow, and you very gallantly lead her in.
yeah. I
You
think
have a
Willow will
very
offer
nice
that
dinner.
elbow this time. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she accepts it with a little mock curtsy,
Oh my
and
gosh.
like does a little squeeze of your arm, your upper arm, in the way that she does to Luca sometimes. Her hands are
Oh.
soft and warm.
Yeah. Willow feels a little. Willow's chuffed. There's a little lump in their throat a bit, but they can't, like, they're not. They're settling with that thought. They are. Tonight has been a night of settling with thoughts, whether they are
Yeah.
bittersweet or nice or miserable. They're
Yeah.
just settling with that thought. They've told Elsa to her face now, you kind of remind me of home, whatever that means.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they will enjoy eating. Oh, well, they can't eat. They've got a mask on, but they will.
Well,
they will collect all the food.
you order food and you take it back to your room, I think.
Yeah, I think
Because
Willow
Elsa would not
yeah.
stand for you not eating with
Good.
her.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Elsa.
Willow's like ducking under the table occasionally. But yeah, no, if she wants to come back to like the common area, Willow
Yeah.
could, I don't know, show her something cool or like, I don't know.
Yeah. She'll ask you questions about Fish Dog and your artificing.
Oh.
She's eager to learn as well. So you have a nice little.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she did see Fish Dog before.
Yeah, when we were riding the carriage, or the cart, rather, in the woods.
Yeah. No, she did see it then, and Willow didn't answer about what it was, so I think Willow might actually explain to her tonight what it is.
Uh-huh.
A little bit. A little bit.
Cute.
I don't know if you guys want to know, but yeah. It can maybe happen on screen another time.
Yeah, when you tell us.
Yeah.
I think
So now
this
she knows.
is- yeah.